A mob captured on video holding one of the men and putting a sack over his head amid chants of Yankee go home.
More than a dozen Turkish individuals who are part of a nationalist group attacked 2 American Marines as they were on a break. Now, the attackers are allegedly members of a Turkish youth union, which is a secular nationalist group that opposes both US and EU influence on Turkey. Now, the Turkish Youth Union posted a video of the attack on social media, which showed a group pushing 2 men and covering one of their heads in a white sack to chants in English of "Yankee go home." Here are more details on the attack itself.
The group grabs hold of him and they put a bag over his head. Another US Marine rushes in to try to save him. He is also attacked. All this happening on the street in Izmir, which is a city in the west of the country. These 2 men were on shore leave from the USS Wasp, which is stationed in the Aegean. 15 people have been arrested as a result.
According to local officials, a group of 15 people, including 13 men and 2 women, attacked the service members who had been dressed in civilian clothes. The mob, part of a nationalist, anti-American youth group, were immediately apprehended. Officials say 5 other Marines were involved. The 2 Marines who were attacked are assigned to the 24th Expeditionary Unit on board the USS Wasp and were taken to a local hospital as a precaution, but sustained no injuries, according to a Navy spokesperson.
Now, the post featuring that video that was posted by this nationalist group also included the following message: US soldiers who carry the blood of our soldiers and thousands of Palestinians on their hands cannot defile our country. And I have more details on this. As was noted in that report, everyone involved has been arrested. But you should also know that there has been an increased presence of US military in that region over the ongoing war in Gaza. As we know, you have Houthi rebels who are retaliating over Israel's treatment and slaughter of Palestinians. Same with Hezbollah in Lebanon. I mean, all of this is spreading, and rather than doing what's necessary to ease tensions and end this war, the US continues to enable Israel, things continue to escalate, and we keep sending more of our soldiers to the region in order to protect Israel from a potential Iranian attack. Cenk.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it. Yeah, there's 2 parts of the story. First, I hate watching that video. It's kind of stomach churning anytime somebody puts a bag over somebody's head. And obviously I'm Turkish. Seeing the Turks do that, it bothers me greatly. And if you don't know, the reason they're doing that is because back in 2003, after the Iraq War, Turkey did not support us going into Iraq. That was because, like France, they were a true ally to America and tried to prevent us from doing something that they realized was a giant mistake, and they were correct. But after the war started, the Americans captured 11 Turks in northern Iraq, and they were commandos. And they put bags over their heads like that, and that enraged the Turkish citizens because America and Turkey are supposed to be allies, and they thought, oh, here we are. It turns out we're not allies. They're just treating us like Muslims, and this is what they do to all Muslims: is humiliate them like this, even though those are our top commandos that are in alliance with America, right? So that's why they do that. But it doesn't. No, number one, no one knows that outside of Turkey, right? Mm-hmm. So it looks terrible. It also paints Muslims in a bad light because it makes it look like, oh, look, here is Muslims putting a bag over American Marines' heads. I hate it in every way. The only thing is, I know Turkish reaction to stuff like this, Turkish government's reaction, which is that they will regulate. So those guys will get more than a talking to when they get taken in. And the reason that the Turkish government will retaliate against the nationalists that did this is, number one, yeah, we might huff and puff, but our alliance with America, Turkish alliance with America, is super important. Those bases in Turkey are super important, both militarily and economically. But most importantly, Turkey relies on tourism, and so they do not want to see any foreigners touched in any way. And so they will send a signal: don't you goddamn do this again, right? For economic reasons and alliance, military reasons, etc. You get it. Now the second part of it is, look, you have to be realistic. If you're wondering why secular Turks are mad at America, and you're wondering why Iran hates America, and you're wondering why Houthis in Yemen are attacking Western ships, and you're wondering all these things, I have an answer for you. It's not at all complicated. All you have to do is ask them.
Ooh, they're jealous of our freedom?
But guys, I mean,
that was literally what our government kept gaslighting us with over and over again.
But not just our government. That was George Bush and Dick Cheney with those comical talking points about, oh, these dirty Muslims in Iraq and Afghanistan, et cetera. They hate us for our freedoms. Oh, if we murder them enough, then they'll love us for our freedoms.
Yeah, they don't hate Norway for their freedoms, right? Or any other Scandinavian country, which actually enjoys a lot more freedom than we do in a lot of different ways. But just America.
Yeah. And so, but every one of these groups, whether they're bad guys or just normal frustrated Muslims throughout the world, it says the same thing. It's not that they hate Israel, it's that they hate the occupation of Palestine. And so, and if you look, easy for you to relate. If you're a Christian, for example, and you saw on the news every day, one country going, look at what we do to these Christians, and just humiliate them, beat them, occupy them, oppress them, kill them whenever they want, cut off their power and electricity, starve them, and go, what are you gonna do about it, Christians? Ha ha, you're too weak, you can't do anything. Now, what do you think that would do? At some point, a lot of Christians in the world would go, well, God damn it, enough of this. What do I have to do to make sure you stop doing that? Not just because we care about those people, but because you're humiliating the rest of us. So that's why this happened, that they state that it's because of the Israeli occupation of Palestine. And every time there's an outburst against America like this from the Middle East, they all clearly say it's because of the humiliating occupation of Palestine that America funds. But our media doesn't report that. So they're like, oh, I don't know, I guess Muslims just randomly hate us. Oh, I guess we've been in all these wars randomly, not because we're unilaterally supporting and funding Israel, which is driving Muslims across the world to despise us because we're in favor of that oppression.
Now, there are some moments of clarity in the media. Usually it's in print journalism, and The Hill recently was willing to publish an op-ed written by writer K. Ward Cummings. The title of the piece is the US relationship with Israel still worth it? And there are some excerpts in there that I think most Americans are probably unaware of, right? Not out of any wrongdoing or lack of intellectual curiosity, but because these are difficult truths that typically are not reported in our press. So I'm gonna give you a few excerpts that I think are important. He writes that the US has paid a heavy price for our relationship with Israel over the years, not just in treasure, but also in blood. According to the 9/11 Commission, US support for Israel was a key reason for the attacks on September 11th, 2001. By the way, our invasion of Iraq, which had nothing to do with 9/11, was also heavily influenced by the Israeli government. Going back to the piece, he also writes that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's animus toward the United States stemmed not from his experiences in the United States as a student, but rather from this violent disagreement with US foreign policy favoring Israel, reads the 9/11 Commission's report. Today, as tensions in the region escalate, experts are concerned that the chance of an assault on the US is also growing. US intelligence officials say that there's a rising risk Lebanese Hezbollah militants will strike Americans in the Middle East, even potentially hit inside the United States. So when the US gets attacked, when our service members get attacked, it is important to understand that there is a motive, a reason for why that attack happened, or a motivation behind that attack. We need to understand those motivations in order to prevent those attacks from happening in the future. The problem is, those motivations are usually buried, so the American people are totally left in the dark about what's really going on. So.
Yeah, and so look, that's why I get so frustrated in American media, because it's not like this stuff is complicated. You could just take any statement on why whether it's a government group or individual, a Muslim acts out against America. They all tell you it's because you guys support Israel's occupation of Palestine. And yet our media almost never reports that. Yep. Well, that's weird. Isn't that weird? Why are they not doing that? And so there's groupthink in DC and in New York. And until this last conflict, it was absolute sacrilege to ever criticize Israel or to ever say that something might be because of Israel. And so part of it was understandable. Hey, you don't want to, revive anti-Semitic tropes about how Jews control everything, etc. And those are awful, and that's not what's going on here. And I understand that hesitation. But what it led to was, whether that was the sole reason or only part of the reason, what it led to was this criticism-free zone for Israel in America. Oh no! When Israel puts people in camps, 5.5 million people in camps, that's totally great. That's wonderful. They had to. Hamas made them do it. Well, how about before Hamas? The occupation's been around for 57 years. The goddamn Palestinians made them do it. It's all the Muslims' fault. And as Morning Joe once famously said, so it's not just right-wing media and it's not just the government. It's definitely mainstream media. He said, oh, the Muslims? They hate us because they hate us. They hate us because they hate us.
Great explanation.
They hate us because they hate us. He said it 3 times. And just to reassure you, don't worry, I am a full-blown idiot or a total propagandist for the Israeli government, pretending the Muslims hate us for no apparent reason. Okay, oh, because they're against civilization and they're dark. Everything that people have said about Muslim people all across the world in American media has been a sick, disgusting lie. There's a real reason why they're upset, and the reason is not complicated. It's the occupation of Palestine. So, but at the end of the day, Turkey has to show that they're getting tough on these nationalists, because we can't have that. That's crazy. You can't attack Americans like that. You can't attack Marines like that. There's got to be consequences for that. And if the Turkish government doesn't regulate on these guys, then America should do some sort of disincentive to the Turkish government to make sure nothing like this happens again.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.